clouds pressed low, lightning flickering at the horizon, Andre spotted Micah standing at the edge of the property.
You've been here long enough. Long enough to feel it breathing. Feel what?
The first thing Andre felt was warmth, like the sun rising behind his skin. He opened his eyes and saw sky. He was lying on his back, half curled in a field of dry, yellowed grass. As he sat up, his hands trembled. His fingers moved automatically to his backpack, still there, still zipped. But his inhaler was gone. But for the first time since he could remember, his breathing was even and steady. He scanned the area. A low, rolling hill, a dusty road below, fence posts leaning over with the weight of years. No cars, no hikers, just the wind nudging the brittle grass, and a few blackbirds drifting lazily overhead. The wind smelled different, like rust and smoke and something sweet, like honeysuckle. At the bottom of the slope was a small, two-lane road, empty. On the other side, a building stood, a gas station, but it wasn't like any he'd ever seen. The logo was strange, a big orange sun with sharp rays. Inside the station, through the dusty window, a man leaned behind the counter reading a newspaper. He wore a striped shirt, wide glasses, and an old brown cap with sweat stains. The cash register was a huge, clunky machine. With buttons the size of chess pieces, Andre stepped closer, pushing the door open. A bell jingled. The man looked up, startled, then confused.
Are you all right?
Andre opened his mouth, but no words came out.
You from school? Don't reckon I know you, kid.
I think I'm lost.
Well, you shall look it.
The newspaper's headline was large and black. Town protest against increasing missing person, October 24th, 1978. The date? October 24th, 1978. Hit him like a punch to the ribs. Andre sat outside on the gas station's curb, his mind racing. It kept skipping like a scratched record. The cave, the silence, the nothing. And now this? He watched a car roll past, a big, dark Impala with white-walled tires. Inside, two men smoked, the windows cracked, and music played on the radio. Andre's stomach turned. He knew now that he wasn't just lost. He was out of place. He spent the rest of the afternoon walking. He passed a diner where the menu was written on a chalkboard and the waitresses wore white aprons. He passed a hardware store with a sign offering color TV rentals. Everyone he saw seemed to know each other. Eventually, he ended up at a ranch called the Harper Ranch. That was his family's name. A group of teenagers stood huddled around a parked pickup truck. Laughter, cigarettes, someone tossing a basketball in the air. Andre slowed down, then froze. One of them had his face. Not perfectly, but close. The same sharp jawline. The same deep-set eyes. He was older, maybe 21, leaner and wilder. But something in the boy's posture, the way he laughed like it hurt, the way he clenched his jaw was familiar. Only James couldn't recognize him. Andre knew in that moment that was James, his father. A girl around Andre's age, slim with short curly hair, walked up to Andre.
Hey, stranger, what are you doing here?
Andre could recognize that smile. There standing next to him, his mother Naomi, looking elegant and beautiful, her eyes full with life and promises. Then his eyes fell on a bulletin board, where a sign read, "Help wanted, horse hand." "That job," Andre said, pointing to the post. "I was hoping to speak to the ranch manager." Bob, Andre's grandfather, came out of the building.
Hey, son. What you looking for out here?
Andre explained he was hoping to get hired. He was. Meanwhile, Naomi's eyes lingered on Andre for a moment longer than they should have.
Days settled into a rhythm, hauling water, mending fences, brushing down horses under the dim, flickering lamps, watching a boy live a life he had lost. Evenings brought beer and low talk among the ranch hands, stories about the mining project that was closed decades ago, the storms that came afterwards without warning, and the strange lights over the far fields. But the ranch itself whispered stranger things. Salt lines under barn doors, small leather pouches stuffed with herbs and tied with red thread. In the tack room behind dusty saddles, Andre found a carved wooden box etched with spirals that made his eyes ache if he stared too long. Empty, but carrying the faint scent of burnt sage. One night he saw Naomi on the porch with a hunched old man in a black coat. The man pressed something white into her palm and left without a word. While the other hands stayed inside, Andre climbed to the barn loft, driven by a curiosity he couldn't shake. Dust coated everything, old trunks, stacked crates, saddle blankets that crumbled at his touch. A small box toppled over, spilling buttons, faded photos, and a leather-bound book wrapped in oilcloth. Most pages were filled with neat entry, but scattered among them were pages in an alien script, curling and jagged like the spirals on the tackroom box. Symbols in red ink, circles within circles intersected by sharp lines. One entry froze him. July 14th, 1914. Pact renewed. 3 lines bound. The gate remains open. 3 symbols followed: an eye, a snake swallowing its tail, and the spiral. Suddenly a sound crept up from the barn floor, slow, dragging footsteps. Through the gaps, Andre saw the janitor, Micah Ward, standing perfectly still, lips moving in a soundless whisper. His eyes were glassy, unfocused. Then, without looking, Micah limped away. That night, Andre read the book by lamplight. Whatever it wasn't just an ordinary book. It was older, bound to something the Harpers and others had promised long before Andre was born. A promise still alive. Storm clouds pressed low, lightning flickering at the horizon. Andre spotted Micah standing at the edge of the property.
You've been here long enough. Long enough to feel it breathing. Feel what? This land, folks thinks the wind's just wind. but it remembers. 3 families made a bargain. Stay out of the old mine trail, and if you hear your name when you're alone, don't answer.
Micah had warned Andre about the mining trail, the very place he had vanished from decades ago, though in another time entirely. For 2 decades, no one except Micah had believed him. The rest of the town treated his account as absurd fantasy, or worse, refused to acknowledge it at all. But now he felt closer to the answer he had chased for half his life. The cave, the one where the old mining project had been carried out, and where, he suspected, something far older than mining had once taken place. The trail up was as steep as his memory promised, but there was something different. The air tasted younger, fresher. If 2003 had aged the cave into something tamed, 1998 had left it raw and unbroken. He remembered the faces of the park rangers in 2003, the men giving rehearsed lectures about geology and history. At this time, only a few were allowed anywhere near the cave. Even in his former life, Andre had known this. The cave was guarded by his family for reasons no one explained. But by 2002, they declared it safe and opened it to tourists. At the ranger post, Andre flashed a pass stolen from his father. The laminated card caught the light just enough to pass casual inspection, and the gate lifted without question. The mouth of the cave swallowed the daylight almost instantly. Inside, the air was colder, carrying a faint metallic tang that clung to the back of his throat. His boots crunched over soil that was unnaturally dark, not simply damp, but blackened, as if it had been steeped in ash and blood. The beam from his flashlight revealed spirals and jagged lines carved deep into the rock, the edges worn but still deliberate. It was more than just history here. It was ceremony. The further he walked, the more the cave seemed to exhale, a slow, cold breath that raised the hairs on his neck. Then he saw it. A narrow channel in the floor led from the wall to the center of the chamber, where a ring of stone sat half buried in the soil, an altar in all but name. The air seemed to hum. He froze. The sound was muffled, like it came from behind the stone itself.
Andre.
Naomi's voice. His heart slammed against his ribs. Micah's warning screamed in his head, yet his feet carried him forward. The light caught something ahead, the same symbols he had seen in 2003. Only now they were glowing. A faint, steady light radiated from the etchings themselves, as though the stone had swallowed lightning and was still holding it. Andre stepped back, his breath quickening. The humming deepened, pressing against his ears.